Saturday. I think they.
Are you-
got invited
All right,
one year.
good evening, everyone. This is the Auburn School Buildings Committee meeting for Tuesday, February 25th. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First item on the agenda is citizens' comments. Anybody here for comments? All right. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the meeting minutes from January 17th meeting, which are in the packets that were distributed earlier. Entertain a motion to approve these.
Motion moved.
Okay, and a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion, concerns of these? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, those are approved. Next item up on the agenda is the OPM report from Skanska. Paul?
Basically, what I wanted to do is just go through the schedule of what is coming up ahead of us. The next month and a half, this project is going to be moving extremely quickly. Tomorrow, RFP is actually being advertised for material testing and inspections. That's starting tomorrow, the 26th. On the 28th, Skanska will be submitting the 90% construction documents to MSBA, which you'll be seeing tonight from LPA. You'll have to approve to allow us to submit to MSBA. On March the 5th, trade contractor RFQs will be due, coming in from our trade contractors, which is your electrical, mechanical, plumbing, painting, things like that. At that point, on March the 3rd through the 21st, the pre-qualification subcommittee will start going through and evaluating. I think we've got close to 60 trade contractors that have replied, 68 so far. So we're looking at quite a good selection. So we'll be going through and evaluating those. On March the 7th, we'll have steel and concrete bid packages that will be coming in. Those bid prices will be coming in. On March the 13th, Fontaine is going to provide recommendations to award for the steel and the concrete packages.
Oh.
On the March the 19th, the RFPs bids will be due back in from the material testing, so we'll get those prices. And on March the 25th, 100% construction documents will be completed by LPA, which will kick off the actual bidding at that point for your trade contractors. On March 28th, we'll be submitting those 100% CDs to MSBA. And then on April the 3rd, we're going to have a pre-bid conference with the trade contractors with pricings coming in on April the 17th. At that point, your job will be 100% bid out. That was a lot of information. Any questions?
It was.
Yeah, where's the schedule? Where's the schedule?
Mr.
Ready.
Mr. Chairman, will there be a schedule available that we could pick up and?
Yeah, I can send one out.
Okay, that'd be fantastic.
I can send everyone on board.
Thank you.
That would help. Thank you. All right. Next item on the agenda is the architect's report on the presentation of the 90% drawings. Eric?
Thank you.
You want to turn off that first row of lights? Oh, there you go.
Well, thank you. As Paul mentioned, we are working on the 100% CDs. We delivered the 90% CDs, or we completed them on the 11th. There is a full set back here that was delivered on the 14th, plan specifications and design binders. So if anybody wants to take a look at that, they are there. The purpose of this presentation, and I know you've seen some of these things already, I'm not going to spend a lot of time rehashing things, but is to present conceptually where we're going with the interior and exterior materials. We have some, I know we've seen renderings, we've selected some materials for the basis of design that we're going to include in the specifications. We've also started to look at patterns and colors on the interior, and we've met with a small group the chairman, the superintendent, and facilities manager and others to kind of chart a course on where we're going with colors and finishes in general. We won't make a final decision. We're not picking colors tonight, so if you don't like yellow or you don't like green, that's fine. We'll get through tonight okay. We'll finalize the colors once we've received submittals from the contractor, and we have everything in front of us, and we've gone through the process of putting things together. We may specify one manufacturer. We may get another manufacturer submitted. They don't always have the exact same colors, so that's why we wait until after we've got those submittals to make final selections. And of course, we'll prepare boards. We'll present them to you as a committee again at that point. So tonight's just kind of a general guideline, if you will. Okay, this looks better on this screen than that screen, but to walk you through this, you've seen this graphic before. We've started to pick some basis of design materials, and the first of that is the precast base, which runs around the entire building. It's also included in other elements. The columns at the entrance will be precast concrete. The window lintels will be precast concrete, and the sills as well. And there's also some banding that runs around the building. So that's what we're looking at for the precast. We're looking at a red brick. It's got, if you look at it, you can see it's got some flashes to it. So it's not just one color. It's an extruded brick. Glengarry product, but again, this is there are other manufacturers. We can't just specify that one, but this is our basis of design. So that's your basic field brick. You can see here there's some darker lines that run around and they pick up on the window mullions and other features. That's an accent brick, and that's this brick here, which is it's an Endicott brick. It's got a nice finish. It's a smooth, little bit of flash to it, so it sets off nicely with this. And then a colored mortar. At the entrance, we've also got at each entrance canopy, we've got a band that runs across it and sets off the letters of the building, and that would be an aluminum composite material. This is the color we've selected, so we can actually put this color into the specifications, and there are other manufacturers, they can match that color. So that again is our basis of design. We're looking at individual letters on the front of that, light colored, that will set off well against the blue background. You can also see we've got some metal paneling up at the top here at the entrance, and then running around the building there's a profiled panel. And this isn't the exact panel, but it's similar. What the panel we're using is it's got this same depth, and it's got this in and out, but it's also got a flat feature too. So instead of being just all profiled like that, it's a profile and then flat, and that runs around the top part of the building and ties in with the roof fascia. We've also got metal paneling at the entrance here, and that's proposed to be this color. It's a fairly neutral beige color. It's kind of a classic look. It's not something that will look out of date in 10 years. This will also be used for the windows and the storefront at the entrances. The entrance doors are aluminum doors and entries. The windows here will all be that color as well. At the entrance, we also have these canopies, and we have some fiberglass, translucent fiberglass wall panels at the gymnasium. And that would be these here. They come in different face sheets and insulation values. At the entrance canopy, we're trying to let as much light as through as possible, so we're going with more of a crystal and crystal face sheet on the lobby, skylight, and the gym. We want to get a little more insulation value, so you can actually see the insulation in there, and that it does not let quite as much light through, but it, again, will be a bright space. The roof is a PVC roof. And you can see in this, it's a light colored roof, and the purpose of that is it will reflect the heat in the summer when you're air conditioning the building and lower your solar heat gain. We're also using a couple different types of glass in the building. We're tuning the building on certain elevations depending on the solar orientation. On the the sides that are going to get the heavy solar exposure, the south and the west in particular, we're using a glass with a higher solar heat gain actually a lower solar heat gain coefficient. It blocks more solar heat gain, and we're doing that for a wholesale elevation, so you don't see one type of glass and then another next to it. But then you turn the corner on the north and the east sides where you don't really need that heat, that blockage of the solar gain, and we're using a slightly different glass, so we're tuning that. And that is especially important at the areas like the stairs, which are, you know, large areas of glass. At the interior of the building, we've shown you some of the lobby features, and this slide really represents the floor patterns and some of the materials. You can see on the left here, we're proposing a pattern with the Terrazzo floor tile, and that's this product that you see here. These are different samples of Terrazzo. And it comes in a tile form, 12 by 12, 24 by 24, different sizes. Installs just like ceramic tile, Portland thin set mortar, and it has grouted joints, but it's much harder than ceramic tile, and will serve very well. As you can see in the existing middle school where you have Terrazzo floors, those have lasted very well over the years. We're proposing a pattern here with different colors. It ties in with the pilasters in the lobby, which I'll show you in a minute in the rendering. But we've got a few different colors going. We've got this feature down the middle, and then at the bridge, right underneath the bridge, we'll have a water jet logo of your Auburn Rockets that will. That'll be right at the intersection with the corridor that goes into the classroom wing. At the entries, at the vestibule entries, we're also we're using a walk-off mat. This is a modular carpet tile. I think I've shown you this before, and that will also pick up on that pattern. We're actually carrying it slightly into the first bay of each end of this pattern here. So this, instead of being, this is an earlier version, but instead of being Terrazzo at this location, that'll actually be this this walk-off material, so that you won't need to bring in separate mats and deal with those. We've also got there's some other materials here. There's wall panels. There's some acoustic materials on the walls. The Terrazzo. These are the colors that we're looking at in general terms on the right. The offices, we're showing some carpet that's still a work in process. So we haven't made any final decision on that yet. This is an interior elevation of the lobby, and you can see the plastic laminate paneling system on the walls here. You're looking at the gym here. This is the gym side, so both these doors are entrances into the gymnasium. They'll all have tempered glass all throughout. We've got two large display cases here. We've got the stair that leads up to the bridge and then across to the classroom wing, and then the entry into the classroom system here. So we're using a plastic laminate paneling system, and that'll be broken up with reveals. And then up above we have acoustical wall material, something like this. It's held in place with Z-clips and mounting clips. And we're looking at a couple different materials for that. You know, the fabric, an accent material, and then kind of a neutral material. And up above, again, we have the fiberglass translucent material for the skylight. We're using two different laminate panels. So on this side, you see the kind of the wood tone color. And then on the other side, where we have this rounded media center bay that projects out, that's more of a metallic finish plastic laminate paneling, and that will also be used on the sides of the bridge, and then around the stairs as that goes down to the first floor. So that'll kind of set those off. Also on this elevation, you can see this opening, which is it's a coiling grill. It's like an open lattice grill, and behind that is a school store. So that will be more or less a display area. It'll have some display slat wall on the wall, so they can display clothes or articles for sale. You can also see there's some high windows along here, which are into offices and also into the media center up above. Just note that these although they're windows, they're up above the door head height, so students walking by can't actually see into those. And this is a view of the lobby. Again, this is the view from the main entry, and you can see the media center bay projecting out here, and you can see these crossbars. We are proposing a stratification fan here so that it moves warm air down in the summertime. And we've got uplights on top of these, and also in various places along the upper edge and this lower band here. And looking down, you're looking toward the multi-use field entrance here, and this would be the stair up to the bridge and across. And on the left, the display cases. From this view, this is again the same space, looking down into the lobby from the stair. This stair is treated a little different than the others. Brought some samples of what we're proposing. We're actually proposing stainless steel. This is aluminum, but the size and the shape and format is similar. These are the post brackets. The handrails will all be welded and ground smooth. And then along the top of the guardrail, which usually takes a beating, we're proposing a stainless cap along that guardrail, so that will protect that. And at this one stair, we're using a stainless steel mesh here, and this actually can curve in one direction, so that as it goes around this corner of the landing here, it curves smoothly around there, and this will be held in place in kind of floating frames in these guardrails. Moving along into the gymnasium. Again, we're proposing a wood floor. This is an anchored channel floor, so it'll be held down, it'll be fastened down, but it will have resiliency. There'll be resilient pads, so it'll have that that won't be a hard floor. We have wall pads on the ends and the sides. The bleachers will be plastic seat bleachers. Those will be motorized. All of the equipment will be motorized. There'll be a divider in the center of the room that goes up and down via wireless transmitter. Also, all of the basketball hoops can be operated with that same approach. We're proposing again the same Auburn Rockets logo painted in at the center court, and at the ends, you can't see it here, but at the ends of the court, it will spell out. There'll be about a 2-foot wide solid band of blue, and it'll spell out Auburn Rockets at each end. And up above, the structure is exposed here, the ductwork, that'll all be painted out. And we have an acoustical steel deck up there. It's perforated, it's got insulation in it, and it helps reduce the reverberation in this space, which with all the hard surfaces, it can be a pretty loud space. The cafeteria and the media center, I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. They're still a work in progress. We've met with the committee, and based on their response to some of the initial colors, we've come back with a couple of new options for colors and pattern. Again, this level of drawing and pattern buys us something for the bid set. You know, it has multiple colors, it has a level of complexity, and again, when we get to the point where we're actually picking colors, we'll have the ability to lay that out and show you something a little different. But in essence, we're looking at rubber floor tiles, such as this, in fairly similar colors to the Terrazzo. The kitchen itself will be a glazed quarry tile, an unglazed quarry tile. We're planning to bring the plastic laminate paneling system from the lobby into that space and wrap it around. And then we're looking at some wood at the stage apron. We're looking at white oak typically for the wood with a stain. And on the walls, ceramic tile. And again, some acoustical treatment, because this is a multi-use space. It's not just an easy to clean cafeteria space. It will be used for presentations, so we want to make sure that it's treated acoustically well too. So with that respect, we have some acoustical panels up high. We also have we'll have some roller shade fabric, acoustical fabric on those shades at the windows. That it'll be a double shade system. So one shade will have the light filtering aspect, but in the event that you have a performance there, you can use the second shade, which drops down, and it will have acoustical value. And looking toward the stage opening, we have a ramp up on the left. It's required to be accessible from the performing area from the cafeteria. So we have that there, and also the stage risers along the front. That'll be the white oak. And then typically during the day there'll be an operable partition that can be closed off across here. It'll have a similar fabric to what we're using up high. You can see the dishwashing station there. We'll have a stainless steel opening, and the ceiling is kind of a stepped combination of gypsum board soffits and acoustical treatment. And we've taken a little license on the lighting fixtures. They won't really be pendant mounted because I know kids would like to throw, so at least kids in the town I live in, but and this is again looking toward in the opposite direction from the stage. Again, there's open glazing along here, and this is where we would have those double shades. There's also some built-in millwork there for students, cubbies, books, book bags, backpacks, that sort of thing, clothes. At the media center, again, a work in progress. We're looking at different colors here, but essentially we're looking at carpet in the media center, and this is a circulation desk area here, kind of in this arced area. We'd do something with the carpet there to pick up on that, and also that media center bay is right here, so we'd also pick up on that. And those circles, circular elements are also picked up in the ceiling. There's suspended grids above those. We're looking at acoustical treatments along here, and also an accent wall, a painted accent wall along the back side here that would be visible from the bridge outside. And again, an alternate scheme, alternate colors. This is a core corridor where the student toilet rooms are located. We're looking at pretty much in the classroom wings. We're looking at up to 7 feet. We're looking at ceramic tile. We're looking at 6 by 6 ceramic tile. This is a basic glazed and matte wall. Ceramic tile, pretty standard, and then some accents, and those would be either some sort of glass tile for the accents, and you can see we've got a few bands here going on, and those pick up again on the horizontals in these display cases on either side of the toilet rooms, and we would look at carrying those into the toilet rooms. The toilet rooms themselves still have automatic sensor faucets and electric hand dryers, so they would reduce the waste, paper waste. In our typical classroom, we've got 3 more or less similar or identical, if you will, classroom corridors, and each of those has two teams, but we want to treat each one a little bit different in terms of color. So what we're proposing is to carry a common theme through in terms of pattern, and that would be this. We would bring a common stripe through, so the field colors would be the same. This blue stripe through would be the same, and the entrances to each classroom would be the same, and then on top of that there would be a cross stripe, if you will, that would be lined up with the pilasters. So we have these pilasters that identify the classroom entrances, and those would reflect the pilasters, and then inset into each classroom entrance. You can see some accent colors here around around the doors and side lights. Those would be the glass tiles. So as you're walking down the corridor, the typical walls and the lockers and things in general would be kind of a neutral color, and then the emphasis would be on the classroom entries. And we also looked at a fairly simple sign design. The one thing that we're going to do different here is we're going to have a slot in here for a name, so that you can insert a teacher's name or and have that readily changeable if the need arises. And again, these would be the other, as I noted before, that we have different accent colors in each classroom corridor. And finally, our typical classroom, we've shown before. The VCT flooring would be, we're representing a border here with a kind of a typical regular pattern inside the field, and we would use again some of the accent tiles. We also would have in here the millwork along the outside, and that would be plastic laminate, casework, open shelving. Also on the side you don't see here, we would have the teacher's unit and wardrobe. That would be similar. We would have the aluminum windows, and then a solid surface sill, something that would pick up on the color of the windows. And the whiteboard would be used both as a markable surface and also as a projection surface for the interactive projectors, which are mounted on the wall. And the lights are notable too, in that these are shown as fairly deep, and the actual light fixtures we're specifying, and these are things that you're going to get a rebate from National Grid for. These are an approved National Grid fixture. They're LED indirect lights, so they're very, very thin. It's almost like the thickness of a piece of glass, and the light is projected sideways through that, and then it hits a kind of a frit on the glass and is distributed. But it's a very, very nice looking solution. That's my presentation. Does anybody have any questions or
Yeah,
comments?
On the gym floor,
Mhm.
the insignia on the center of the floor and the two ends that are going to have Robin rockets, that's going to be painted on the wood.
It is. Just
How
like
long is that going to last before it's all worn off and needs to be repainted?
well, what they do is they put their game lines on, they paint the game lines, and then they put the finish over it, so the polyurethane finish.
Will be over the,
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we want to use this material at the entrances, so that when people come in from the outside, before they go into your gym with its nice wood floor, you know, this kind of product will get as much of the dirt and material off their shoes before they go into the gym. So that's the purpose of that. But you will have to, you know, it is a wood floor. It's something that you'll have to have refinished periodically. It will require maintenance depending on what level of abuse, I guess, it's subject to. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank
Flip those lights back on that side. All right. Next part of the agenda, a bunch of review and approval issues that have to go on here. Who's presenting the site work one? You can do it, Dave. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so what we've handed out is a summary of the site work bids. As part of our plan that we discussed with the team, we wanted to put out early packages for site work, steel and concrete. The site work package was finished first by Lamro Pagano. We then developed a comprehensive scope of work for that, which we put out to 7 bidders. We received 7 bids, so we were really happy with the interest in the project. We had some guys from east, some guys from out west, some central Mass guys, but really good competitive bids. We are also now in the process of bidding the steel and the concrete packages. We're expecting to get those bids on Thursday of this week, after which we'll bring those guys in, do scope reviews with them, and make a recommendation for award in another couple weeks. So what we want to do tonight is go through the site work bids that were received, and then we'd like to get that scope of work approved so we can get them started on site in advance of the foundations and everything. Just a brief summary of the bids. Like I said, we got 7 bids, and the column that you see on the left is the bids that we received on the original bid day. We went through those. They were all pretty much per our scope. There were some minor things that we wanted to go over with people, so we brought the low 3 bidders into our office to do a full, very, very detailed scope review. And then after that scope review, we asked the bidders to provide us with revised bids based on any clarifications or understandings through the scope review process. So the low bidder after that process was T&M Equipment Corp. They're a company that we've done a lot of work with. They're very good. They've always been on schedule for us. We're very confident that they can get the work done. And what we are recommending is that we award the base bid and also the prep for the turf field alternate 2. The reason that we need to make a determination on the award of the turf one way or another is that if we go with the turf field, then the site contractor has to cut to about 6 inches below the turf, 6 inches below the start of the turf system. If we go with the natural field, then they actually have to cut about another foot deeper. So we need to tell them as they get going which system we're going to put in so that they know what subgrade to get to. Budget-wise, the base bids came in within our budgets. They were actually pretty close to our estimated budget, a little bit under for the base bid. And the prep for the site work for the turf field actually came in below our budget. So we're very confident that we'll save some money on alternate number 2. And like I said, the base bid is right within our budget. Jamie Bloom, our project manager, is here as well. So we just wanted to run through kind of our sequence of events that we'll be looking to do as we get going in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so now that we have a site guy picked out, he just filed his SWIP permit, so we're on hold for that for 14 days, just while they process it. While that's happening, we're going to probably bring out a surveyor early next week and just set control for everything, get that started. The office trailer is going to show up on Monday. Pretty sure it was the last thing I saw.
Next week.
So we'll see that. Bill will start to be out here essentially every day. And then this way, when we get the sign off and we're ready to go, we'll hit the ground running with, you'll see the site fencing, erosion controls, all that stuff going up within about 2 weeks, hopefully, so it doesn't get slowed down. And then T&M will start delivering equipment out here. They'll start stripping in the areas that they're going to be pulling the loam out of, and they'll have their pre-blast survey going on. Hopefully in the next week or 2 they'll get that started as well. And then we'll really start to see a lot of activity here, probably within about 3 weeks. So that's sort of the big picture where we're at right now.
Yeah, and our plan is we're going to go basically from standing here, like the back right corner of the site is where we'd like to start foundations. There's some ledge in that area, so we want to get in there. We want to strip it and blast it immediately. But our foundations, we're looking to start in April, and we're looking for steel in June, with the rest of the trade contracts being bid, you know, when the 100% documents are ready. That should all follow along with us getting this early package ready and get the structure up ahead of it.
Now, the alternate 2 here, that's the, for the synthetic field at the multi-purpose fields and stuff, that's not the whole price?
That's the scope contractor, the site contractor scope of work.
Okay, and where's the rest of it's gonna fall on?
The rest of it will be bid by a synthetic turf contractor. Basically, their scope of work includes the excavation of the subgrade. It includes the infiltration field and I think drain manhole 22 that comes off of the general drainage system. And then it includes 4 inches of crushed gravel, 2 inches of what they call like the choke layer, that's a finely graded layer. It brings it right up to the carpet. On top of that, the additional work that we still have to procure for the alternate is basically the concrete curb, which is to be formed in place by the cast-in-place contractor. Our budget for that is about $45,000. And then we also have to get the turf field. I think it's 75,000 feet, and market price for that right now is about $4 a foot. So I would imagine that on top of this, you'll see another $350,000. But like I said, we reviewed it with our entire scope of work for alternate 2, and we feel that we're going to come in below our alternate 2 budget for the entire package.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, our alternate 2 is about 637 on your last one, your last estimate?
Yeah. We think we'll definitely see some savings from that estimate.
Okay. Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, through you, on the low bidder, his
Yeah.
alternate number 2 originally 275, brings it down to 110.
Yep.
That's roughly a third of his original,
Yeah,
versus
the-
the second bidder, 75 to 95.
Right, the reason that that happened was with the low bidder, when we brought him in for a scope review, we actually found that he had carried the subsurface material essentially twice, because he hadn't given us a credit per se for the subsurface material that he was not placing, because we were doing the turf field. That was a misinterpretation of the spec with him that we clarified. With the bidder that was originally second, they excluded the misting system, which was supposed to be part of alternate 2. So when we brought them in and went through the full scope of work with them, they added money to account for what they had missed. So in the end, their scopes of work for that are identical after the adjustments.
And you've worked with these 3 low bidders?
We
in the
have
past?
worked with all of them. We've actually worked with almost everybody on the list. And T&M just did, the most recent project we did with them was West Springfield High School, which was an $85 million, 285,000 square foot school, which they performed very well on, so we're very confident in that.
So you are recommending that
We're
T&M.
recommending to award to T&M for the base.
What does
bid.
Skanska say?
We agree.
Yeah, we.
You've worked with them?
No, we haven't.
Oh, okay. You will?
You were part of the scope reviews and stuff, right? On the de-scoping process, yeah.
As far as alternate 2 goes, what is the school department's view? To accept it, or
In terms of.
Going with the synthetic field versus the natural turf.
Absolutely, I would defer to Joe, who maintains them, but I think our experience is it's been a very wise investment.
well, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we
Mr.
go along with. Yep. Okay, I'm sorry.
Forward. Just on these 2, I first of all, my question would be, who is T&M and where they're from and so on and so forth? And what was the difference? I know in price there's a small difference, but what is I guess the downside of Moraes Brothers, which I am very familiar with.
I certainly don't think that there's a downside to it. We have worked with them in the past as well. They're very competent. I feel.
Well, by down, I just meant the other group was picked rather than Moraes.
Yeah.
I don't mean anything negative, but.
No, our recommendation is based on the price basis in the end.
Just the $57,000.
Well, we went through the process of inviting firms that we knew were qualified. We did a full pre-qualification process. We checked references for everyone. T&M received, of all the guys that we checked, some of the best references of everyone. So in the end, we thought that it was, we asked people to provide us the most competitive bids, and T&M did that.
And where they're from? That's
They're from-
the first question.
They're from Springfield. They do a lot of work in Springfield. They do a lot of work in Central Mass. They're not a huge company. The 2 owners are actually Tim and Marty, which is why it's T&M. And we are very, very comfortable with them.
If I could, they're $43,000 lower. I know Ralph personally. Hate like to see him lose a job, but
What was the last name? Tim and Marty?
Right?
Right.
WRIGHT.
Okay.
So if
Questions?
I have no other question. So if I could,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we accept the contractors and the CM's recommendation to accept the low bidder, T&M, along with accepting alternate number 2, synthetic turf.
Second.
All right. The only modification I'd make on discussion side of it is that the, we have to make, it's a recommendation coming from us to, that we'll be passing on to the town manager, because the contract's actually signed with her, so, but she'll,
Whatever's legal.
so. We're forwarding out the recommendation, but I think that'll be accepted regardless, but that's good. All right, so we have the motion and second to go with T&M. If there's any other discussions, questions, concerns? If not, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? And that's a vote. The next item on the review and approvals for us tonight is the okay for Skanska to go ahead and present the 90% documents to, construction documents to MSBA for the next submission here, so since we're gonna have to have the meeting minutes with this one too, right? No, you don't need it with this one, so I don't have to go to recess, good. All right. So I entertain a motion to, based on everything that was submitted here tonight and documents that were presented before, for Skanska to go ahead and file our 90% construction documents with MSBA.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second? Second. All right. Any discussions, concerns? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. The third item, with the stuff that's been happening and the added request and that we needed to put in for planning board and town officials and stuff in terms of the West Street improvements out there. It's all new scope and stuff. Trying to address it here. There's a proposal in here for a Skanska to extend their services to help out with that work. There's a proposal back there. It's a $50,000 not to exceed budget based on a time and material, monthly billing, hourly billing for the work as we're going along on this to help oversee that and help. Like right now we're in the midst of trying to get engineering pricing and stuff for the design and stuff. So as we voted before that, put this road work in there. So right now we're just looking to approve the proposal from Skanska and to add these services to them going forward.
If I could, well, I know it's uncertain how deep's a hole, and you can't come up with anything, not too many variables, but do you feel it could be a lot less than your quotation?
We put down 50,000 as a starting point, and in all honesty, we actually have no clue. what it's
I understand that,
We
but-
could have 2 meetings with DOT, we could have 30 meetings with DOT. That process is very valuable on being able to really figure out. So we put down a 50,000 to come in. We were going to do it as just an hourly basis on work that is just involved with this type of this scope. We come in under, great, over, and we'll have to come back to you guys. But this is something that we can monitor as a monthly basis as we go through this process.
I mean, there's nothing definitive.
No,
I mean,
there
we've
isn't,
been-
but
we've been
I
happy
mean,
with their services
right.
and their billings to date, so
Based on the time frame, there's no way putting in a not to exceed either, because we don't know what the numbers are gonna be.
I mean, I'd like to make a motion that we approve this proposal. as stated.
And again, I just want to reiterate, we'll be doing this on an hourly basis based off, and we can show that on our monthly billings of exactly what meetings we're attending or what we're going to, so that you can, keep an eye on the progress and what we're doing.
Sure. I'll make a motion that we approve his proposal.
Okay.
Skansky's proposal.
Second.
Not to exceed 50,000.
All right, a motion and a second. Any discussions, concerns? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That's been voted. The next one, we actually had a proposal for engineering work. We're actually gonna put that on hold for tonight. We're going out to, what, 2 others?
Right, we did do some, we were able to negotiate with Niche Engineering since they've been doing all this work up to this point. They're exempt. Horizontal work, engineering work is exempt from 39 or 30B requirements law within the state. We did go through that process. We have gotten proposal from them in the contract. However, we are going to be going out to 2 other firms, try to see if there's any different pricings, and try to see where we are in the ballpark and before we'll make a decision who we'll go with. We know we're up against a pretty tight schedule, but this is the direction we're going to take. And then we'll come to you.
So we'll bring that back at the next meeting based on that. The last item on here is a proposal for printing the documents for the trade contract portion.
LPA went out to 3 different firms. They came back with Andrew T. Johnson. This is a printing firm. What they'll be doing is setting up all of the contract document specifications and drawings for all the trade contractors that I had discussed earlier where the RFQ had gone out, and will be coming back in within the next week or 2. This is a service that they'll be providing when we start bidding out this project for actual cost. Our subcontractors will contact this firm, get copies of the plans, copies of the specifications, and they'll manage that whole process for us, issuing addendums, taking in money for the drawings, and managing that for all of us. This service was covered in our project budget. We do have money set aside for this, and this is just a process that we're now going through to actually get it set up so that we can bid out this project.
This is all part of the Chapter 149A process. We still have the stuff that we have to go through per state law in terms of bidding it and stuff for the, while it's not full file sub-bid, it's still those file sub-bid trades that we have to do this for.
They'll need copies of these plans and specifications so they can bid and put numbers to the project.
I think it's,
this company will be managing that for us.
it's like masonry and HVAC, electrical.
Masonry, tile, terrazzo, tons of them.
Yeah.
Don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's not all the trades, but it's a good number of the trades, so.
13 trades.
May I, through you? It says plans 100 sets of digital e-prints.
Correct. We just
Paper?
established a number on what usually we,
Right.
for a project this size, about how many sets of plans,
Right.
So that we can get an idea of what the cost may be, so that's what they base their numbers off
But
of.
there would be no directive to go ahead and print 100 sets right off the bat.
No.
It's as needed, so the
Correct.
10.8 is somewhat
This
of
number
an
could go
up
up,
figure.
it could go down,
But it still
depending
could go
on-
higher than that, I understand. Okay. And one last little question, right down the street from you, Eric, is Acme Blue, they didn't quote? Or couldn't they handle it?
We haven't worked with Acme Blue. We usually use, we use them for smaller stuff than it.
Okay.
Yeah, so
It was too much for them.
Quite a bit with the Showa. And we looked for vendors who had the ability to host the electronic
I understand. Okay.
plan room.
Thank you.
Online.
Okay. All right, so if there's no other discussion on that, I'd entertain a motion to accept this additional services for the printing.
I'll make that motion that we accept Lionel Pagano's recommendation to accept, who is it? was the company?
Andrew T. Johnson.
Johnson,
Second.
on an as-needed basis, on an as-requested plan basis.
All right, and we have a second? Second. All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Next up is our favorite thing of approving invoices.
Yes.
We have two here, one for Lamo Pagano and one for Skanska, if I'm not mistaken.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pay Lamo and Pagano's invoice number 1207-1401 dated 1/31/2014 in the amount of $343,350. Nice round number.
Second.
Okay, any discussion, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's approved. Just the front page, that's all the back up to it.
This is just back up.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make another motion that we pay Skanska's invoice, invoice number 1311838-PDS-12035-23 dated February 6th, 2014, in the amount of $24,838.44.
Second.
All right, motion and second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's a vote. On the back of that package is the summary of where we stand right now against all the budgets and stuff, and what's been paid out, right?
Yep.
So,
Looks good.
in the back of the Skanska building one, it's, we could maybe rotate that and maybe print it 2 pages and a little bit bigger so we can see it. That's a tough one to see. It's a lot of information. It's good. It's a good tool, but there's a lot of information there. So, I believe. Let's see. Next item, like you said, for other. If there's any other issues, item people need to bring up. Okay. I believe the next. So. Oh, that's right. We've been going back and forth and having to put out dates and trying to coordinate with MSBA for groundbreaking ceremony. And they came back today, and I believe it's the 17th of April. It's going to be at 10 a.m. Of course, all of you will be invited. And so as we get closer, we'll...
April 17th.
April 17th, yep, 10 a.m. It's a Thursday. And then we'll have more information as we get closer here.
2 days after.
The next scheduled meeting right now is the 25th.
Correct.
Is that right?
March.
March 25th, 7 p.m. There's a possibility, depending on how we come in with the engineering, we might have to call an earlier meeting than that, but we'll let you all know. But right now, the next one's the 25th. So if there is nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you all.